Welcome to our last project. In today's agenda, we will journey through the ins and outs of the Capability Maturity Model, also referred to as CMM. Introduction. The Capability Maturity Model is an organizational model that describes 5 evolutionary stages or levels in which the processes in an organization are managed. The thought behind the Capability Maturity Model, originally developed for software development, is an organization should be able to absorb and carry its software applications. The model also provides specific steps and activities that help to bring an organization from one level to the next. The term maturity relates to the degree of formality and optimization of processes, from ad hoc practices to formally defined steps to manage results metrics to active optimization of the process. The model's aim is to improve existing software development processes, but it can also be applied to other processes.
Moving along, now for the structure of the Capability Maturity Model. The model involves 5 aspects, but we have decided to explain each of the aspects in 2 sections. The first section we will talk about the maturity levels and the key process areas. The maturity levels is a 5-level process maturity continuum, where the uppermost level is a notional ideal state where processes will be systematically managed by a combination of process optimization and continuous process involvement. A layered framework providing a progression to the discipline which is needed to achieve continuous improvement. It is important to state here that an organization develops the ability to assess the impact of a new practice, technology, or tool on their activity. Hence, it is not a matter of adopting these, rather, it is a matter of determining how innovative efforts influence existing practices. This empowers projects, teams, and organizations by giving them the foundation to support reasoned choice. Next, we have the key process areas. Key process areas identifies a cluster of related activities that, when performed together, achieve a set of goals considered important. Referring to our previous slide, the last 3 aspects regarding the structure of the capability model are goals, common features, and key practices. Goals. The goals of a key process area summarize the states that must exist for that a key process area to have been implemented in an effective and lasting way. The extent to which the goals have been accomplished is an indicator of how much capability the organization has established at the maturity level. The goals signify the scope, boundaries, and the intent of each key process area. Common features. Common features include that practices that implement and institutionalize a key process area. There are 5 types of common features: commitment to perform, ability to perform, activities performed, measurement and analysis, and verifying implementation. Key practices. The key practices describe the elements of infrastructure and practice that contribute most effectively to the implementation and institutionalization of the area. There are 5 stages defined along the continuum of the model, And according to Software Engineering Institute, predictability, effectiveness, and control of an organization's software processes are believed to improve as an organization moves up these 5 stages. While not rigorous, the empirical evidence to date supports this belief. We have decided to present these stages in 2 parts. First, we will cover initial, repeatable, and defined. Quantitatively managed and optimizing will be included within the second. Initial, the starting point of use for a new and undocumented process. Its characteristic of processes at this level that they are typically undocumented and in a state of dynamic change, tending to be driven in an ad hoc, uncontrolled, and reactive manner by users or events. This provides a chaotic or unstable environment for the processes. Repeatable. The process is at least documented sufficiently such that repeating the same steps may be attempted. Its characteristics of process at this level that some processes are repeatable, possibly with consistent results. Process discipline is unlikely to be rigorous, but where it exists, it may help to ensure that existing processes are maintained during times of stress. Defined. The process is defined, confirmed as a standard process, and decomposed at levels 0, 1, and 2, the last being work instructions. It is characteristic of processes at this level that there are sets of defined and documented standard processes established and subject to some degree of improvement over time. Now we will go into the second part of the 5 stages, quantitatively managed and optimizing.
Moving forward, quantitatively managed is that the process is managed in accordance with agreed upon metrics. It is characteristic of processes at this level that, using process metrics, management can effectively control the ASIS process. For example, for software development. Now, in particular, management can identify ways to adjust and adapt the process to particular projects without measurable losses of quality or deviations from specifications. Process capability is established from this level. Optimizing is process management including deliberate process optimization or improvement. It is a characteristic of processes at this level that the focus is on continually improving process performance through both incremental and innovative technological changes or improvements. Within each of these maturity stages are key process areas which categorize the stages, and for each such area there are 5 factors: goals, commitment, ability, measurement, and verification. These are not necessarily unique to CMM, representing, as they do, the stages that organizations must go through on the way to becoming mature. The model provides a theoretical continuum along which process maturity can be developed incrementally from one level to the next. Skipping stages is not allowed or feasible. The capability maturity model describes the principles and practices underlying software process maturity. It is intended to help software organizations improve the maturity of their software processes in terms of an evolutionary path. This path goes from ad hoc, chaotic processes towards mature, disciplined software processes. The focus is on identifying key process areas and exemplary practices that may compromise a disciplined software process. The maturity framework provided by CMM establishes a context in which practices can be repeated. If you don't repeat an activity, there is no reason to improve it. There are policies, procedures, and practices that force an organization to implementing and performing consistently. Best practices can be rapidly transferred across groups. Practices can define sufficiently to allow for transfer across project boundaries, thus providing some standardization for the organization. Variations in performing best practices are reduced. Quantitative objects are established for tasks, and measures are established, taken, and maintained to form a baseline from which an assessment is possible. And last, practices are being continuously improved to enhance capability, or optimizing. The Capability Maturity Model, or CMM, is useful not only for software development, but also for describing evolutionary levels of organizations in general, and in order to describe the level of management that an organization has realized or wants to aim for. What is the process definition criteria? Process definition criteria are the set of process elements that must be included in a software process description for it to be used by the people performing the process. To establish the criteria, you are asking the question, what software processes information do I need to document? What are some of the process elements? Such process elements are purpose. Why is the process performed? Input. What work products are used? Output. What work products are produced? Role. Who or what performs the activity? Activity. What is done? Entry criteria. When can process begin? Exit criteria. When can processes be considered complete? Procedure. How are activities implemented? Reviews and audits performed. Work products that are to be managed and controlled or placed under configuration management. Measurements to be made. Training. And lastly, tools.